hold deep, chasing for the glory to the end. Don't run, be the one, bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret eye when this war will rise up higher. Reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark, get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause we are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't draw in the dust. The land of the sand knows the answer in your head. Hold tight, it's worth the try. Chasing for the glory in the fight. Don't run, you're the one. Bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret eye when this war will rise up higher. Reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark, get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause we are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Even when you fall, sticks and stones may break your bones, but you are stronger than the heaviest waves. The earthquake won't shake you, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen, you are the truth of the land. You rise up higher, reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. You rise up higher, conquer the ark, get ready to fight for your life. You rise up, climb to the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen. You will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't drown in the dust. The land of the sand wants a prize on your hand. Hold tight, don't lose your way. Chasing for the glory to the end. Don't run, be the one. Bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret eye when this war will rise up higher. Reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark, get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause we are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't draw in the dust. The land of the sand knows the answer in your head. Hold tight, it's worth the try. Chasing for the glory in the fight. Don't run, you're the one. Bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in
Let's go. We're here. We're live. Looking forward to what looks to be an amazing match, an absolutely incredible match. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We have OneV versus TR. Looking very strong. Got a lot of folks in the chat saying their favorite team. This is Dragothian here. I'm going to be your host. I'm also going to be joined by, in just a little bit, Mr. Bulburitos. He will be joining us shortly in a nice little dual window podcast. Had a little bit of issues with our video this morning, but it will be working out for us all. We've got OneV versus TR, everybody. Now, I've got the screen up. I'm sure you all have your screens up as well on the Osiris League page, trying to figure out who's going to win this match. We have some very, very strong people playing in this match, players across the board, across the globe, all joining in and trying to make sure that we are going to be doing an amazing match for you all. So OneV versus TR, I want to talk about what happened last week. OneV defeating DKV1 in their bracket. They're both in Group G. They're both the only ones that came out with a win last week as well. So OneV defeating DKV1 75,774 points versus only 7,478 points. A massive destruction of an alliance by OneV, and TR taking on OpaV, which is another alliance in the same kingdom as OneV, their current opponent. Today, they beat them 53,183 points to 28,836 points. So, with all that being said, I want to welcome Bulburitos into the cast here. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to our dual screens. I want to make sure that you guys are ready and pumped up. Bulburitos, do I have you on the chat?
I hope y'all are as excited as I am. I know this is, I know we both kind of regarded this match as probably one of the three top matches to watch this weekend. So I am really excited to be casting it with you, my friend.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait. So when we were looking at what the upcoming matches were for this week, I was really excited when I saw this one on the docket. For sure, looking very, very strong as a major match that should go down to the wire. I think both teams have the capability to win this. I think that especially with some influx of some different kingdoms from other kingdoms coming into these alliances, this match is primed to be one of the premier ones of the day. I'm glad we were able to cast it today in front of all these fine people that have joined us this morning. Welcome to the chat, everybody. I know that we've got our moderators here putting out in the chat, who do you think is going to win, OneV or TR? I was trying to, because again, we have the betting, right? We have the Osiris League betting. I was trying to really kind of figure out, is this something that that I can confidently bet on and say, I know for a fact one of these teams is going to win? And I'm just going to be honest with you, I could not do it. What about you, Bulba?
The odds were just so good, and I'm a betting man.
Oh, so good.
I'm looking at them right now, and we're at 9.7 million for TR to 47.8 million for OneV. And those odds, if you're a betting man, you gotta put a little, because when they hit, it hits big. And if you're looking to clear out the shop, it's one of those perfect opportunities that you're gonna get a couple of them this weekend. So
that's right. You're exactly right. And, when we're looking at the brackets right now, we've got about 5 minutes until this match starts. I'm looking forward to the next tier as well. So this is the group stage, the group qualifiers. What that means is there's multiple matches inside of each one of these groups. OneV and TR, again, having won their last matches, are in Group G. Now, they'll be facing other groups, the winners of other groups, if they end up being the ones that come out as the top two alliances in this group. Like I said before, OneV has a sister alliance, OpaV, that's also in this group. And then again, DKV1, having been beaten by OneV as well, also in this group. So 4 teams, only 2 can advance forward. Whoever wins this group, so Group G, they'll be facing the winners of Group B, which have the likes of 44E, Blackpink, that's IOTI, or IO2I, 114K, and 419E, all 4 very solid alliances. That was kind of a murderer's row group, and I believe it's Group H, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that just to be sure. We have Group B, and then Group No, it's actually both Group B. So both of them will be facing Group B. So the number 1 and the number 2 alliance from Group G will be facing the number 1 and the number 2 alliance from Group B. And again, those two that come out of Group B look to be very solid as well. So whoever wins this group will be facing some pretty solid teams going forward into the next phase of Osiris League as well. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is looking very, very strong. What are some things that, as we got about 3 minutes left, Bulbaritas, what are some things that you're looking forward to watching from these two teams? Give me some specifics that we should keep an eye on.
Well, I can definitely tell you that the TR Arc Planner is a phenomenal strategist. They are very, very clever. Last season, we saw some of the most unique strategies coming out from some of the players from TR and formerly some squad members, where we saw what I regarded as kind of the play of the season was that sneaky tactics pool that TR that they pulled last season. It was absolutely phenomenal. So I am going to be I'm going to have my eyes glued to the screen, seeing if we're going to see some sort of amazing skill usage or just some unorthodox gameplay today from TR.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm always looking forward to seeing if TR pulls a cat out of the bag, something a little bit different. 1V has been kind of the gold standard a little bit for the past season or so. TR's made splashes, certainly. I don't know if they've necessarily gone too deep in any one particular season. 1V, I think, was in either Final 4 or Final 8 last season and ended up not getting to the finals quite there, but did a fantastic job getting close. And when we're looking at these two alliances as we're trying to figure out who's going to win this one, I think that ultimately it's going to come down to, has TR improved with the people that they've had come in and help supplement their Osiris League team? Has 1V done any improvements since last season as well? Have they been doing things to adjust and fix some things that maybe they missed last season? Because they looked really solid last season as well too. So we'll see how it goes. I think that ultimately the actual battle is what I'm looking forward to the most, just simply because both of these teams are just chock full of just amazing players, and they've got the best gear, the best equipment, the best commanders. They've got the best tactics. They've done their due diligence. They've done their work. They've put in a lot of time into their accounts and certainly a lot of time into the actual system. Really looking forward to seeing who comes out on top. We've got 20 seconds left here. Really looking forward to bringing this to you all. We're going to be opening up the cast as soon as it pops up inside of our screen here, and we'll go through the initial screen on what each team is bringing to the table. They have that nice little breakdown of all the different characters. We'll go through a quick, if you're new to the game, we'll go through a little bit of a quick summary on what Osiris League is, what Ark of Osiris is, how you score points, etc. And we'll kind of go from there. Let me click watch and see if maybe we're going to be blessed with a very, very early preview of what's going on here. It's taking just a little bit. Let me go back out and go back in.
No, what I'm interested to see as well is from last season, TR has done a phenomenal job in building up their team. We know from last season they did get some former Rose players, but they also picked up some squad members that were formerly on the squad Arc team, and they also just picked up some Smash squad. So we may see a friendly face on the battlefield today.
That sounds good. Well, speaking of seeing something, let's go ahead and see the cast. Let's go ahead and go over to the match, and I'll see you guys over on the other side.
On the battlefield today.
All right, where's my iPad at? My iPad should be sitting here instead of the cast. Let's go ahead and go over to the match, and I'll see you guys. Oh, I watched the actual YouTube instead of the actual match. I was like, I see myself. How's this working out? Yeah, Enter. I saw YouTube and I just got into it. All right, cool. We're good to go. I'm like, hey, that's me. All right, so here we go. We've got the blue team here at the top left. That would be 1V, K1034. Bubba, I'll let you jump over to the red here in just a moment. We got a lot of players over there looking very strong. And over on the red team, go ahead, Bubba. Let's go ahead and see what's going on over there.
All right, give me 1 second. So we're looking at TR. As you can always see, when it comes to organizing kind of how you're going to approach, you're going to see them very optimized when it comes to who's going to be the closest to the gate. and having your provisioners porting forward, and you kind of stagger in as you're going to be porting in. So it's very interesting to see. We have Van, who is their arc planner. We have Bunny as well, the leader of TR, right up front, getting ready for battle.
Yep, there's Bunny right up front. I think that I saw Chiskel in there, who will be gracing us with his presence in the next 2 matches. I think either him or I will be casting the 15 UTC match, and then he'll be co-casting with you, Bowl Burritos, on the 19 UTC match. So looking very, very much forward to seeing those right here on the Rise of Kingdoms official channel. 1V versus TR, again, at the very beginning with 30 seconds left until this match kicks off. I think that really what we're looking forward to seeing is who is going to start positioning around these desert altars on the top and the bottom lane, if that's what they decide to do. We saw Song's match last week where they didn't do the norm at the very beginning and kind of waited a little bit until that desert altar was just kind of forgotten about at the very beginning, and then ended up overwhelming it before it captured, and was able to really kind of take it to the middle team as we have 2 seconds left before this opens up. And here we go, 1V coming out of the gates. Bulba, I'm looking forward to it. What are we looking to see here?
What I'm looking to see is how people are going to posture forward. We saw a couple strategies from different teams last week where we had Song push really hard onto one side. It caught their opponent off guard. Whether it's that or team composition, I'm really looking forward to seeing if 1V is going to bring out those XYs. There's a lot of high end. I'm already seeing some Minas coming out on the side of 1V, and seeing if we're going to see a shift in meta now that we have museum buffs. There's a lot of things we're going to notice this weekend.
Yeah, I was just about to talk about that. Thank you for reminding me. So we have the museum in the game now, and that museum is buffing quite a few commanders that at least a couple wouldn't really be usually seen in a top tier Realm of Horus type Osiris League match, but are now back in the game, Mina being one of them. And then we have some other commanders like YSG who are staples of all of these teams, and that one also got buffed a little bit with the museum. So looking to see if we see some different rally combinations now that we've got Mina getting super buffed in the game. Heck, even Double C got a little bit of a nice little buff in the game. Maybe that's going to help out for killing provisioners when we're talking about trying to get the provisioning score up. We've also got Frederick, who got a really good buff as well. Charles, who we see quite often inside of Osiris League matches too, got a little bit of a buff, which was quite nice. So Mehmed as well, good AoE damage increases across the board. Looking very much forward to seeing if we see some of those early game Season 1 Gen 1 commanders back into the late game. It would be pretty interesting to see if that's what ends up happening. But we're seeing right now, though, TR taking both of their obelisks just a little bit quicker than 1V. That top obelisk for 1V still not captured. In fact, it's got a good 20-30 seconds left, 40 seconds until you got a Honda march with T1 Cav trying to take that obelisk at the top. That's not normal when we're talking about trying to get the obelisk as quickly as possible. This could delay significantly the push that 1V can do at the beginning on the top lane for the blue team. And with that being said, I mean, we're seeing on the TR side pushing up across the way, TR sending a rally from Van Diesel, Guan rally, trying to arrive at just the right time, I suppose, with just over 2 minutes left until these buildings open up, Bulba.
Now, it's a very interesting idea that I'm seeing right here. So when we're talking about team compositions, I kept clicking on the 1V marches just to see if maybe they're going to bring something different, and they have. So what I was looking at is they have a ton of XY combos. They have a ton of Ethel and CC combos as well, and that is their primary March compositions that are coming out right now. There are a couple Guans, but there are a ton of CCs that are coming out. So I'm very interested to see, as you're seeing right now, they're going to pass the rally on the desert altar on the bottom side, and there is a ton of CCs coming in, posturing forward. Let's see how these are going to take into how it's going to affect, because they're really investing into these museum commanders right now.
I can see that. And then, Ethelfled as well getting that museum buff. Now, I will say this. 1V definitely posturing very strongly on the bottom lane here in front of TR. TR is going to have to fight through quite a bit with only a minute and a half until these altars open up for for grabbing and ultimately getting that first occupation bonus points, which is ultimately what it's all about. TR needs to do some work to get through all these 1v folks. Now, a little bit of a belly by Drusified getting around on the left side here. So 1v is trying to address that with a Trajan, which I don't know if that's the right play there. But we've got some fighting already, early, very, very early, right beside the Desert Altar. And again, for 1v, this is very much an advantageous position for 1v to be in. TR needs to plow through all of these troops and or just start beelining for the Desert Altar. Now, what happens is if they ignore the actual fight in front and instead try to go through the marches, they're going to not have much to play with when they actually get to the Desert Altar, assuming they actually get to take it in the first place. So we've got a little bit of a back and forth here. I think 1v made a huge mistake on the top by not capturing the obelisk as quickly as they possibly could, but I think 1v is very strongly positioned on the bottom lane here, and TR's got some work to do. They are moving forward with 15 seconds left towards that Desert Altar, Bulba.
And while we're paying attention on the bottom, I was flipped over on the top side Desert Altar, and now TR are being the aggressors up there, so they're posturing forward as well. And the altars and shrines have just opened up. Let's see who's going to hop in. And there's TR on the top side. And then we got 1v. So we flip-flopped on top and bottom.
Oh, my goodness. The Sky Altar still not taken by TR on the top lane. Same thing with the Shrine of Life. Not taken. Now it's taken. Okay, so now all buildings are taken. But now there's a little bit of a scuffle because, again, TR looks like they're going to go ahead and wipe this up here on the bottom lane at least. The top lane, let's go ahead and take a peek at the top lane and see how that's looking. A little more
Jedwigga and Garrison.
Yeah. A little more even-ish. TR looks like they have a strong position, but do they have enough reinforcements? That's going to be the thing. I don't see anything coming from the bottom area there, which means that they're going to have to hold this for another minute and 15 seconds solo. I'm not sure if they have enough to do that there, but it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be tight.
Yeah, and I did like what the 1v strategy was on the bottom, but you have to remember, if your marches get obliterated before you can capture the building, then it's for naught. And I feel like the TR composition for their marches, while they might have gotten there a little bit later on the bottom side, now they're more primed for garrisoning the structure with a minute left before capture on the bottom side Desert Altar.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can even see this Desert Altar on the top side barely with all the troops that are on top of it. 40 seconds left until this building gives the points. Now, if 1v is able to... There we go. Okay, so 1v reset the timer, killing the garrison inside of that Desert Altar. And with what TR has left here, I think 1v will get their starting points. It's just going to be delayed a bit with TR going ahead and taking the early lead with 1,000 points to 545, and right now 650 points per minute. Now it's 570 points per minute in favor of TR versus 380 for 1v. TR losing their Shrine of Life at the bottom, which is where I was actually staring coincidentally. We have a lot of blue team members here at the Shrine of Life with the Xeno ISS Garrison. This is going to be tough to take back for TR. It's not going to be a quick little let's swarm it back and take care of business. They're going to have to probably rally this. Now it's a Guan.
And I do like what I'm seeing from TR. They're switching it up. When they took that Desert Altar, they immediately started rotating towards middle. So they were first at about 545 before the arc spawns, and they are already going to be sitting in the middle. And that's really where 1v shined last season, was their ability to capture arc. And so I am very, very, very impressed that TR did an early rotation. I do like the idea of being there first, 4.5 minutes before the arc spawns. TR is already there. 1v hasn't started to rotate, but they have a couple of marches already rotating. So this is going to be a very intriguing mid-game battle coming up soon.
Yeah, I think a little bit to do with their delay on rotating. TR was able to secure, well, at least take and start the countdown for the obelisk from 1v on the top lane for about, I want to say it was about a minute or so before 1v was able to take it back with about 20 seconds until that actually turned for TR and they could have possibly poured it in. We've seen that time and time again in the last few matches last week, where we saw the red team taking over the obelisk on the top lane from the blue team and porting porting players in, and that's causing a massive disruption to game plans, causing a massive disruption to defense, having to constantly have to monitor that obelisk over and over and over again. And with that being said, TR does have a pretty favorable position at the temple right now, pushing more and more troops into the middle. I will say, I think that they may start to be outnumbered here very shortly. 1V pouring an absolute metric ton of troops into the middle from all lanes, bottom lane, middle lane, top lane. It's all coming down, and TR needs to get some troops here quickly. They have a good position, but if they don't solidify that position with actual players, this is where it could be a problem. Now, I feel like I saw more here than I did before. Have I missed a skill going off at all? Did a sneaky tactics hop up or no?
I know. And 1V are absolutely dumping all of their troops into the middle. I'm looking at all these different structures right now, all the altars. There are no troops. It is a barren wasteland out here. They are literally dumping everybody. And this is where it could be. Man, and I'm paying attention because this feels oddly familiar to the squad SN that we saw last season, where they knew that their team was going to overinvest. And then you saw some sneaky tactics pop up, and we had an obelisk pool, and it was. I feel like there's something that's coming on right now, but we're gonna see.
Got the spidey senses tingling. Huh?
Yeah, the spidey senses are tingling right now.
I will say, during this whole thing with 1V really posturing strongly in the middle and pouring tons of troops in now at this point, they are still able to take and hold the Sky Altar on the top lane, forcing TR to really dedicate some resources to take this back, and it's definitely causing an impact. I have no doubt about that. They have 3 altars right now generating points for 1V. Let's look at the points per minute here. 710 points per minute in favor of 1V versus only 440 for TR, and that kind of makes this arc a must capture, in my opinion, for TR, unless they decide to go full in on structures right now. That's going to be a huge blow. They need to definitely have these 3,000 points coming back for the red team if they want to decide to have an even playing field in the next 5-10 minutes.
And we've seen mystical formation getting popped on the side of TR first. Should see some skills getting popped from 1V in a hot second, and there it is.
Yep,
War drums coming in.
Everything popping all over the place here. As you can see, we have a lot of red numbers going all over the place as well. Tons of skill damage popping out. Looking for some cannons on the fringe here. I see a lot of axes, a lot of lightning bolts coming from Ramses. I do see quite a bit of horses coming from William as well. I see an Artemisia in there. I see Trajans throwing the gauntlet down quite a bit as well. I see Guan all over the place. By the way, Guan, I just saw an XY and a Honda in the screen here too. So I mean, we got combinations galore on this middle team. Let's zoom out just a little bit to see what the dots kind of look like here. Looking very blue, Bulba. Looking very, very blue.
Yeah, we're watching all the march. Some sad faces coming up from TR, which is very interesting because they do have a very similar composition to other top tier teams when it comes to having a ton of XYs in the middle. But I am seeing what you're seeing, and there's a ton of blue, and oh my goodness. But they are sending more and more, so this is very interesting. With 10 seconds, the arc is about to spawn. You should see TR begin to start pushing in order to make it a little bit harder for that arc carrier to just grab and run. And the arc has spawned. We got a couple of people grabbing it on the backside. I believe I see a CC already grabbing it from that bottom left.
I mean, just side seat driving here. I would already have started to switch to the structure game if I was TR. This middle fight is over, and it's been over for about 15-20 seconds now. 1V absolutely decimating TR in the middle, and I think really, if we're just pointing it out, the numbers from 1V were significantly bigger. They had just enough buffs to do what they needed to do, and I mean, I see Easy Company here in the middle for TR. I also saw him defending and taking back the Sky Altar on the top lane, which is now under heavy duress again from 1V. I think he wanted to be here a lot sooner than he was. I think 1V did a fantastic job spreading the TR team that was supposed to come to the middle out to the edges, on the outer edges of the lanes. That's a long way to march without any kind of movement speed buffs coming from the outside lanes there, and that gave 1V a decided numbers advantage in the middle. And now we're looking at, right now, an even match from a points perspective. TR actually does have a points per minute benefit right now, even though the buildings are all on who they're supposed to be for. I think that there was some switcheroos there during that middle fight that ended up helping TR keep that point total even. But now we do have a 3,000 point arc being carried by 1V to their side. Now I'm interested to see, Bulba, what do you think they're going to do? Are they going to keep it? With how quickly they won that middle fight, I wonder if they're going to go ahead and instantly capture it and really kind of use that as a favor, right?
Well, my opinion right now is if we're looking bottom side Desert Altar, when they did win the middle, some teams do it where they traditionally break backwards and then split back to their altars just to resecure their position. 1V split in all 4 directions, and you are seeing on the bottom side Desert Altar those marches. They're going to come back. I have a feeling what they're going to do is they're going to hold the arc until these marches have been killed off, and as they get killed off, then they will capture it. Those marches, by the time they come home, will then be able to clean march through the middle again. But they are utilizing a different rally combo. They're pulling out a Herald Pakal secondary,
Herald primary,
and they're going Herald primary on every single Desert Altar because of Jadwiga, I assume. So, man, I'm excited just because now it gives 1V the ability to dictate the pace of the match. They can kill off all these marches, and then when they capture it, by the time they march back, they'll be able to time it very well to when they're going to have to rotate middle again.
I see a lot of building trading going on both sides. 1V having quite a bit of swarm capability on all of the frontline structures for TR, and TR doing a great job holding all but one on the top lane there, but then TR doing the same thing. Bunny and team up on the top lane as well, taking the Desert Altar away from 1V as well. And I mean, we're just seeing this back and forth structure game. I think from a structure standpoint, TR doing a fantastic job without having the presence that 1V has, I will say. So again, to me, when I see that kind of thing, it lends me to believe that the team that can be the same effectiveness without necessarily having the same amount of players on the field will do so much better in the middle. So to me, that's something I'm looking to see. Is TR able to consolidate in the middle at the right time, in the right place, with enough troops as quickly as possible, having the ability to take a structure with really, again, that was really about 2 or 3 players that were swarming that Desert Altar and able to take it. Now, it does have a Xeno. It looks like Xeno Theo, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And 1V is swarming this down, but I mean, Xeno Theo's a little bit painful to do that for, but they will go ahead and take that back. And TR is now down 1 altar for the most part because the Sky Altar is still blue for the time being.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's really tough, especially when you're having to garrison a structure that's on the opposite side of the map. So you're seeing what you're seeing right now on both of these altars on this side that TR are actually holding. They just lost the one on the top. Is just the sheer reinforcements of Cav swarms, and now they got a Trajan garrison on the bottom side Sky Altar on the side of 1V. You're just seeing the sheer amount of Cav, and just how the reason why a lot of teams love Cav is because you can quickly move across the map if you need to reinforce, which is why you tend to see a lot of Jadwiga garrisons. There's a Wu garrison on TR right now.
How is this still blue? How is the Sky Altar still blue? The TR team is doing everything but taking the Sky Altar back. I mean, the Jadwiga is holding so strong, getting really quality reinforcements. 1V noticing a gap in the defense here and really kind of holding this Sky Altar, and the longer they hold this, the bigger the gap is going to be. It's 440 points per minute for each side because, again, TR did take for just a second the Sky Altar on the bottom lane, but again, they're not able to keep it quite as well as 1V has been able to keep these structures. They just poured another 1 million troops into the Sky Altar to hold it for another 10 or 15 seconds. It's absolutely incredible. Their staying power, even though, again, it just seems like 1V should have more points at this point, even without capturing the arc right now. They are holding it on the bottom lane at their obelisk. I just feel like TR has more points. They still have more points. The points per minute don't look bad at all in favor of TR, again, taking this bottom structure. And I guess I got to say, they're still taking structures from 1V, but they're not holding it. But even if they don't hold it, they're at least denying points for their opponent. And that's really, at the end of the day, 90% of what you want to be doing. The extra points that you get by holding it 1 or 2 times, or 1 or 2 minutes at a time, I guess really isn't worth the troop commitment there at this point in this type of match where you've got to be in 10 places at once, Bulba.
See, and this is what I'm loving the strategy from TR, because right now what it's doing is it's going to force 1V to do one of two things, right? You asked me in the beginning, do I think that 1V is going to insta cap it, right? What TR are doing is they're doing a fantastic job neutralizing structures, which is essentially allowing them the ability to, if they hold a point advantage, they're just going to consistently but slowly keep growing it while they're holding the arc. I think on the side of 1V, you're forced to decide, hey, do we think we can win middle? Because these 3,000 points that the first arc will be worth will put us up 3K. But at the same token, TR is just going to slowly start eating into that lead. And, and I'm excited to see, what do you think 1V should do with this arc?
I mean, the fact that they're not already ahead by 1,000 points with holding the arc on top of how dominating they've been, to me, I'd cap it immediately. I'd be capping it immediately. But again, there could be some mind games going on here with TR. Who knows? I mean, TR might be positioning themselves as, hey, we're not going to be able to take the middle, but we're holding our own on the structures. And then kind of making 1V think, hey, let's go ahead and cap this really quick. Let's just get a bunch of arcs this time. And then TR goes ahead and flips the script and says, hey, okay, just joking. I'm actually really good in the middle, and I'm going to go ahead and own the middle now too. So who knows what's going to happen with it? This, I told you at the very beginning. I think we all kind of knew this. I'm speaking to the choir here. I think that we all knew this was going to be a very close match, but at the end of the day, we're seeing some plays here from both teams trying to read each other on both sides, doing great work on both sides here. I think this TR offensive on the Shrine of War isn't going to go very far. They don't have a whole lot of support. It got tangled up here in the open field, but everything's blinking still, man. Everything's blinking. You got 7 minutes left until the arc respawns. We've got again the arc carrier just kind of patiently waiting at the obelisk. I don't see any kind of obelisk rally from TR as well, so that's not going to be a play. They're really just trying to focus on the structure game, I guess, and really just reposition themselves effectively for when the next arc is going to spawn.
Yeah, and right now you're seeing topside, they're getting TR getting cleared out, Jadwiga Garrison holding firm. Bottom side, you're also seeing TR progressively. They're doing a little bit more open field fighting than I was expecting.
Yeah,
and it not being around this Shrine of War. But it could be a play that they're setting up. It could, you never know, and that's what's tricky about these teams. You never know when they're going to pull that cat. I have a feeling they're treating this, with the utmost respect in this match. So I definitely am going to expect at some point, and I think 1V kind of expects that too. So that could also be a reason why they're holding on this arc to essentially make this match a 2-arc match, so it doesn't get completely out of hand. And just like that, they just capped it right there. Yep. We got 7 minutes before the new arc, and we'll see. We're going to see how this timing lines up. 1V is sending a lot of fresh marches out on the field, and right now we're looking at bottom side Desert Altar about to get flooded with 1V marches here in a minute.
Yeah, I think that timing was definitely on purpose. 1V having positions well on the top lane Desert Altar and the bottom lane Desert Altar, assuming at 7 minutes here before the arc spawns. Hard push coming in here, or not the skill, but just an actual hard push coming in here. Rally probably popping out here momentarily from 1V on both the top and the bottom lanes, looking very strong as a pushing unit. Actually, Rally almost ready to hit here. So again, timed perfectly with the 1V marches coming in on the bottom lane Desert Altar. And conversely, again, looking at the top, there was a bunch of TR marches on the bottom lane top side where the Sky Altar's at, but they were all almost dead. They were all, 20% or less, damage-wise. So, I mean, we're looking at a total shift on the map right now, and this is the benefit of being able to hold that arc and really kind of snag it whenever you want to. 6 minutes until the arc spawns. Rally's hitting for 1V on all fronts. TR really kind of getting pulled back because, again, their open field presence is now gone with all the open field fighting they did. And now they're gonna also, again, 1V looking to probably come in. There we go. It's like I know what we're talking about, man. 1V coming into the middle already, positioning correctly, and I think TR needs to do some serious work here if they want to go ahead and make a play for this middle on the next arc here.
And I really do like the timing because what 1V did is the second they capture it, they had set rallies on all desert altars. They aren't currently pushing on any other structure except for the altars. So all swarms are taking place on every single altar that they are not occupying. And right now, I'm looking at this bottom side Jadwiga holding on for dear life. Let's see if we can get some reinforcements because this 1V swarm is doing some work. But if they, and just like that, we got 2 minutes before this one, and the neutral is just as good. And now you should start seeing teams rotate towards the middle. We got 5 minutes before the arc spawns.
Yeah, 1V has a YSS in here already, YSS Theo. So not the best, but not the worst, especially for a swarm situation, which TR is going to have to swarm this down if they want to be able to get this out of the way and go to the middle like they're supposed to. Because not only do they need to take this, they need to go ahead and re-garrison it, go ahead and refill it, and go ahead and refresh their marches that they used to swarm it down in the first place. 1V ahead of the game already, going ahead and moving their troops up to the cities to go ahead and get those marches back for that middle fight that starts in 4 minutes 40 seconds. TR taking that desert altar back, but again, now the next steps happen. Get that thing refilled, get it re-garrisoned, go ahead and get those troops refreshed, and then back to the middle. And TR losing the Shrine of Life on the bottom lane in the process as well. A Wu Theo holding that structure with 1 minute and 30 until it captures. And there's not a whole lot of red down here to take this thing back. This is going to be the same thing as it happened on the last time, but it was on the top side. Now it's happening on the bottom side, but the top side is not immune to danger as well. 1V pushing hard on the top desert or sky altar as well, still with 4 minutes until this arc spawns. Ooh, this middle fight's going to be a big deal.
And now it's very interesting that when you were talking about the shrine on the bottom side, watching all these marches just melt themselves inside of a city in order to get them back to their city so that they can then rotate towards middle. So this is one of those strategies that we always talk about where how do you get more marches in the middle faster? Okay, well they took a structure, they neutralized it, whether they keep it or not, they're more focused on the middle. So they sent them to a city to zero them out to then get them back to rotate. So these are the little strategies that we always like paying attention to. And right now in the middle, it appears TR is slowly starting to inch up closer. I want to see them be the aggressors in this rotation for sure. I feel like if they wait for 1V to set, it could smell trouble again.
I agree. I 100% agree with what you're saying. And I will say this, TR taking those structures back a lot quicker than I thought they were going to. 1V, I thought they had quite enough pressure to at least hold that Shrine of Life for a little bit. And they are swarming it again, but all their marches are almost dead. So I don't think that's going to be successful. And the Desert Altar is about to recap in favor of TR. I think that was quick enough with 2 minutes 45 seconds left, unless they're resending another one. And I haven't seen it, but I see everything going to the middle for 1V. So I don't see another major structure push from 1V happening. They're all going to the middle. TR does have, I think, definitely. They definitely have the player count advantage right now, at least, and more are coming. You're right, but I think more 1V are coming at this point to try and even it up at least. So this middle fight's going to be huge. This middle fight's going to be huge, Bubba.
And I am seeing right now that TR switched their composition up. I believe on the second rotation, I'm seeing a lot more Guans this time than I am a bunch of XYs from the side of TR. So this could be an attempt to counter strat the XYs. I am seeing the Hondas on the side of 1V, which I know we've been keeping our eyes on. There's at least 4 or 5 that I've seen of Hondas on the side of 1V. A lot of Trajans, Ethels, museum commanders as well. So this is gonna lead up. It's gonna be a pretty epic of a battle. I'm looking to see who's gonna pop to the death and how this arc comes. Because if TR pulls this arc, this is gonna be a very interesting finish to this match.
We got TR Poo over here holding down the caravan point with both of his marches. He is your arc runner, people. Is Poo from TR, and as we say that, TR pushing off on this temple here. 1 minute 20 until the arc spawns, and they are already engaging. This is very early, but it could be exactly what they need to do. Getting 1V off of this arc area. 1V forced to use mystical formation. TR following Soup Ball, but talk us through what's going on.
So you're seeing the traditional. Oh, there's Heaven's Grace coming on 1V.
That seemed really early.
That's actually very early. I want to see if they're going to pop to the death here. I think they're going to wait a couple of seconds, and I'm waiting to see if they're going to pop to the death on the side of TR. Their skills came out pretty early on the side of 1V. I believe their tactic was to pull him and kind of play on the aggression of TR. And now I want to see, this is the part where we want to pay attention, because I don't know if TR have the skill points in order to pop another one.
They're not popping it. And I think that's probably the right play, to be honest. Having that heal for 1v happen, you've got marches that are less than optimal to be using to the death on. They're probably half health at this point, and even the damage coming out is going to be half damage for the most part. And then even if you're adding to the death to it, it's not going to be that massive impact that you need to the death to be. So I think that TR just needs to really reinforce this with more and more troops. They need to make sure that maybe they could use a mystical formation, or I think they already use mystical formation, but maybe a war drums in here would be nice to use to get a little bit of an advantage with the newer marches coming in. A lot of blue here, but I will say that arc is open for business, and it keeps getting grabbed and dropped instantly. It looks to be fairly even on the numbers as well. This could go either way.
Now, what I do like that TR is doing is that first pull is crucial, because what a lot of people don't understand is when you grab it, if you grab it from the backside, you're prolonging the enemy arc runner from picking it up and having to do an extra 30 seconds to run around this structure. And TR are grabbing it, and so that's what and they're rolling. There's this is what you want to see. You definitely want to see some TR reinforcements coming in. And there goes Pooh with his CC. Let's go.
That's exactly what they needed, and this really extends the fight into TR territory, giving TR a little bit of a reinforcements advantage, being closer to their spawning point on that obelisk, also having the ability to make 1v have to cross that threshold themselves on the other side, and continuing to grab this. I will say, I think that actually went backwards a little bit. Whoever grabbed that, I think Pooh grabbed it. He went backwards a little bit with that, but he has a Belisarius with that arc, and it is moving. It just needs to continue to move. If they cleared him out. If they cleared him out, that's exactly what happened. Look at that. No blue here. I think 1v saw the writing on the wall and heavily reshifted. Look how much. Oh my goodness. Look at the desert altar on the bottom lane. Shrine of Life already taken by 1v. 1v heavy pursuit on this desert altar. Already moving 15 marches, 20 marches in that direction. All completely full. These are the ones that died in the middle. They're already moving to the desert altar. There's going to be another fight for this arc.
There's going to be a slow, and I do like what TR is doing right now. They're rotating back from bottom. They're trying to cut off these marches that are rotating towards this desert altar. The rally's about to hit here in 10 seconds. We got another Herald Pakal, more likely than not. But I do like the aggression that TR is showing. They are hitting them far before they're going to get to the structure. I would have liked to see 1V's, those marches already swarming and putting in a little bit more work on the structure prior to TR, because you are seeing a massive clash that's about to happen on the side of the bottom side desert altar from all the troops that are rotating in.
Yeah, see, the problem is 1v decided early to refocus on structures. They took the Sky Altar on top lane. They took the Shrine of Life on the bottom lane. And points per minute right now, 820 in favor of 1v versus only 360 for TR. So huge points per minute disadvantage for TR. Having that 3,500 point arc is a big deal right now, as they are basically down by 3,500 points, 3,700 points actually. So they need this, and they need to get their structures back, and they need a reset for the next arc. Man, this is going to come down to the wire ball. I am really looking forward to the last 10 minutes or so of this match. It's going to be absolutely incredible.
So here's the thing that we got to keep in mind as well. Pooh is running the arc. If you are TR, you do know that they popped Heaven's Grace on that last rotation. If it was me, the timing might be a little awkward, but I would actually consider capping this arc fairly soon, because it's going to give you the ability, since you didn't pop to the death, it gives that time, that awkward timing. I don't think 1v is going to have enough skills in order to counter to the death if they did it in a quick succession. And so that's something that you definitely in TR you want to play with. The longer you hold this arc, the more likely 1v is going to have those skills for the next one, if there is in fact a next one. So I really do think if TR play this smart, they would capture this probably in the next minute and a half, give themselves the ability to pop to the death in the middle if they do have those skill points, while 1v doesn't have it. where they could counter it. That way they could kind of run back 2 arcs, and then that makes this game even more, because right now they would only be down about 1,000 points when they capture this arc. And it's also going to catch them off guard on 1v with these swarms on all these structures.
There's an XY garrisoning that desert altar right now. That's going to be very hard to hold. That garrison goes down in favor of 1v. 1v now has that desert altar, and again, holding 2 point generating altars, taking away 1 point generating altar from the TR side is exactly. In fact, no altars are generating points for TR right now, because again, TR just got the Sky Altar back on the top lane, and it still has a minute left until it starts generating points. I mean, that's the name of the game right now. 670 points per minute for 1v versus 210 for TR. They're doing exactly what they need to do. And I mean, 1v still pour. Look how many troops they are pouring into this desert altar area in between the desert altar and the obelisk. 1v really positioning, my opinion, exactly where they need to right now. I will say that this arc, so we're talking about Pooh holding this arc right now for TR. I think you're right. The timing of the capture is critical to see who exactly is going to take the advantage on the next arc battle. If they don't capture this, I'd say within the next 4 or 5 minutes or so, I think they're missing a window that they need to take advantage of against 1v, having popped Heaven's Grace, having popped Mystical Formation. They may have enough points, and they're probably saving to the death for that next fight, I'd imagine 1v is. But TR needs to hold enough have enough points to go ahead and counter that with to the death. And if they don't do it now, they may be doing to the death against to the death and kind of nullifying what possible advantage they could have.
Yep. And right now, I think what their mindset is right now we need to retake a couple, at least a desert altar. We need to regain probably this bottom side desert altar. And then from there, I have a feeling they'll insta-cap it right off. But we see a Zenobia in this bottom desert altar, and 1v doing a fantastic job. You'll see this on a lot of top-tier Korean teams where they push in that awkward space between your obelisk and your altar, and they will just pound you like a drum as you're running out of your city. We are seeing a rally coming in. Yeah, the reinforcements are just insane. TR are beginning to clear them out. You should see the swarm on Zenobia here in a hot second. And the rally is hitting, the swarm is hitting. This desert altar looks like it's going back in favor of TR. Let's see if these couple of reinforcements. Ooh, the reinforcements are coming in nicely for 1v on this altar as well.
Yeah, they're swarming down that rally as well. So it's a Gilga Ramses rally, not a Gilga Nebu rally. Interesting. So Gilga Ramses rally there, going down very quickly. Arc's still not capped, Bulba. And now they've lost the Shrine of War on the top lane too. I have to believe that they're losing a window here now. I guess the other question is, do they have the troops available on the open field right now to take advantage of that window, even if they did capture it? That's the other question. That does go down in favor of TR. Great job for getting that back, but now they got to hold it again. There's enough TR here, or 1v here, to still make it a little bit of a trouble to hold. They got more people coming in from the top now. They're turning back around. Okay, so 1v deciding to give up on this just a little bit, and looks like TR's got everything in hand on their structures. They got everything back. It's not generating points, but it's at least, in their color. So down by 200 points per minute at the moment is TR. And I think, again, right now, if they would have captured it 2 minutes ago, they would be rotating to the middle right now and have the decided advantage. And I think that's, again, backseat driving, side seat driving here, what should have happened. But again, they have their own strategy. Maybe this is exactly the way they wanted it to play out. Who knows? We're about to find out here in a little bit with 7 minutes left until this arc timer respawns. They need as many points as they can, because right now 1v does have the decided advantage on structures right now. 260 points per minute in favor of 1v right now, as TR tries to wait about another minute or so to get their points per minute generation back in business. But they're already down 6,000 points with a 3,500 point arc sitting at their obelisk area. That's still 2,500 points they need to go find. And this arc in the middle will take care of that, won't it?
Yeah, and right now I'm watching 1v, and this is where I feel like the timing needs to be kind of capturing the arc is going to throw off their aggression a little bit, because you can't be hyper aggressive, lose all your marches, and then have to be forced to rotate if you are on the side of 1v. So I do want to see TR capture this arc, because right now 1V are overloading on the bottom side, getting ready to push again on this bottom side desert altar. And so I really do think that in order to offset this aggression, you're going to have to capture this arc in order to force them to pull back, to rotate towards middle.
You know, TR giving 1V a little dose of their own medicine, taking the Sky Altar on the bottom lane. It's red right now. It'll go blue here shortly, so it's not going to be nearly as held as the 1V Desert Altar was there shortly ago, but it does the job, right? I mean, technically, it does the job. It does delay. Like, I think 1V did delay the point generation for TR a little bit better, but at the end of the day, I mean, we're talking a couple hundred points here at the end of the match, and if TR does exactly what they need to do, and to me that is capture the arc here in just a minute, really position that middle fight to have as many skills available as possible to absolutely decimate 1V in the middle while holding your structures as much as possible, and then having a solid provision game on the back end of that. That's a win. That's a win. That's the winning plan for TR. And if you're 1V, you want to keep this pressure up. You want to take as many structures as possible, especially considering you don't have an arc to worry about right now. 5 minutes until this arc respawns. It's still in TR's hands. 1V should just be all out, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're going all out on all these structures. They know they're going to need to have as many structure points as possible, because if they lose this middle fight, it's going to come down to provisioning and structures, and this is where they're going to get those points, is in that lull while TR is holding this arc.
Now look at the sheer amount of marches that are on the bottom side desert altar. Just around the altars in general, you see the priority, the focus around taking those altars because of the amount of points per minute, the buffs that you get, all that kind of stuff. And on the bottom side, once again, 1V has overloaded, and they are now going to start flooding in, and that's that gap between the obelisk and the altar. And this is one of those things that the timing is going to be crucial, because right now, if they were to capture it, all these marches are half dead. This is the optimal time to do it. You're going to force them to have to kill off their marches, and they'll be a little bit late. And then this is what we were talking about with timing wise. They probably should have done it a hot second ago, but we got 16 minutes left. And we're setting ourselves up for a final arc that will decide this match, because they will already be down 3,500 points. Add that, was it rough math, about 3,000 points, and the following arc is going to be worth 4,000. So this is going to be very, very interesting.
It's going to be tight. TR doing everything they can, knowing that really this next arc is their salvation. The one they own right now is obviously in the pocket, 3,500 points. If they can get this one and get the middle arc and have a solid provision game on behind that, they have the victory. The next arc really is all this stuff is window dressing from a points perspective. We're talking a couple hundred points here and there, especially considering TR is taking away 1V structures. So it's kind of just a wash a little bit, although I will say the wash is going in favor of 1V, the blue team really owning the structure game in this match. I think that TR is just a little bit behind on their ability to defend and aggress structures over 1V here. But 1V taking both the Desert Altar on the bottom lane and the Shrine of War on the top lane during that conversation. TR, however, was tapping the obelisk there on the top lane a little bit at the beginning, and is defending their Sky Altar on the top lane too, while aggressing the Sky Altar on the bottom lane. I mean, they've got 2.5 minutes left until this arc spawns. They're really trying to make this next arc the last arc, and that's really what's going to happen. It's a 100% chance. So with that being said, are they thinking they're going to go into this middle and just absolutely grab it? Because if they wait for the next, let's just, hypothetically, Boba, let's wait for the next 2 minutes. That means there's 12 minutes, almost 13 minutes left in this match before the reset happens. Then you've got 8 minutes until the next arc happens, right? So then we're talking 4 or 5 minutes to capture the arc. I don't think that's enough time.
What I'm going to pay attention to on the mid is, holding the arc, for a fact that now 1V does have Heaven's Grace again. For sure, by the time they rotate to the middle, they will have enough points for Heaven's Grace again. So on the side of TR, if you're going to be popping to the death, you really, really want to try to bait 1V to pop Heaven's Grace early, and to waste a little bit, and then you pull back, and then I want to see them reapproach with to the death. That way you're wasting a little bit of the time on that skill. So it's going to come down to skill usage in the middle. I think that they're definitely the big deal with these big battles is they tend to either end really quick, like most of the other arcs have ended in about what the first minute after the arc has spawned, everyone's dead, or they'll linger a tremendous amount of time, which I don't feel like these two teams are going to do. I feel like they're going to go, they're going to run into the wall. One team is going to come out. I don't feel like this is going to be one of those lingering, but I do want to pay attention with the skills and when they are popped when we rotate towards middle. And the arc has just been captured. We got 7 minutes before the next arc spawns.
Yep, it's been about a minute, about 50 seconds since the arc was go ahead and picked it up there for TR. And I'm looking at the field because I wanted to see what happened after they grabbed it, after they capped it. And what I'm seeing is a little confusing. They're open field fighting on the 1v side. Now, I don't know if this is to get... I mean, these are all full marches. So, I mean, I don't know if this is just to get their troops back, or maybe it's to delay the push, and that might be what it is. That would make a little bit of sense. To delay the push or stop the support for the rally coming in for 1v. We have Osiris in the open field here. Where's the rally? Yeah, Osiris rally coming in for 1v against this Desert Altar. You know, I think that was probably the right play. TR going ahead and delaying the reinforcements, or at least killing the swarming marches before they get to the structure. I think that's the thought behind what they were doing, at least. And doing a pretty good job of it, sending quite a few 1v marches home, because all they're doing is marching. They're not fighting back. So that's a really solid strategy by TR to alleviate some of the pressure, because 1v, when they get their full complement of reinforcements with this rally, swarming this structure, it's devastating. I think they've seen that over the first 40 minutes or so of this match. But with 5 minutes and 50 seconds until this arc spawns, let me tap the little middle here. Nobody in the middle. Nobody in the middle. Okay, here we go. 1v already positioning in the middle on the top here. TR starting to come into the middle. One player, Butta, coming in like Butta in the middle for TR.
Now, I did like when you were watching the bottom side, the one thing that I would tell our viewers to notice is what was 1v doing. They weren't open field fighting. They were dragging all of the TR marches to their side of the map. And that's what when we refer to map presence, that is the reason why they're constantly on your side of the field, because they're not just standing there. They're dragging everybody onto their opponent's side. Right now, you're seeing the call out from the bottom side to rotate towards middle. All these marches that were full health are now, some are still full, some are half health. We've seen red line out here. We have Chiskel himself rotating in with his Mani. And this is gonna be a bloodbath here in the middle in about a minute. So get ready, everybody.
This is what they're after. So this temple is going to make it's going to birth the item that is required by both of these teams. Well, it's required by TR to win. As long as 1v doesn't let them take it and capture it,
yeah,
assuming the provisioning is relatively even, then this is 1v's match to lose. I mean, and I gotta say, 1v knows that and has definitely positioned earlier than TR. TR is now pouring in everything, but like you said, there's some not full marches in here. We have a few that are at 70-80%. Some at 30 or 40%. So we're not seeing even marches right now on the field, and then we're not seeing even health marches on the field either. And right now as well, I mean, 1v has 3 altars right now, and they're point generating altars. They're not window dressing. These are all generating points in favor of 1v. 740 versus only 360. So TR really needs this, and I don't know if they gave themselves enough time, Bull, but I really don't. It's 10 minutes left in this arc match. 3 minutes, 30 seconds until this spawns. I don't know if that's enough time. 6 minutes is all that's going to be left until the match is over. You got 6 minutes to bring this thing back to your side. And you need to decidedly win this middle to make it happen.
Now, with To the Death, that's the one benefit that I would say To the Death grants you. Now, keep in mind, they do have Heaven's Grace now for sure on the side of 1v, so that changes some stuff. Usually with To the Death, you can get away with having a couple less marches just because of the amount of buff that you're going to get from that skill. But being able to counter strat that with Heaven's Grace, it's one of those things that it's going to be about who pops it first. And if you can get 1v to pop their skill, because like you were saying, right now, 1v don't need to capture this arc. They can delay, They can just stall. They can pull stall tactics of just picking up the arc to die to have a 10-second timer again. And there you go. There's 1V pulling back. They're attempting to bait TR. So we are gonna watch to see this movement in the middle. Yeah, here it goes.
The arc timer is nothing but beneficial for 1V. 2 minutes 30 seconds until the thing even spawns. What's the point of engaging now? There's no reason to engage right now. Absolutely none. And TR positioning the way that they would like to had they gotten here before 1V did. But again, is 1V and you know, to your point with the point generator or the alliance skill points and stuff, but I think both teams have 10 points. I think both teams have 10 points. They haven't been using skills hardly at all match, especially since the last arc fight. So I mean, I think both of these teams have 10 points. They were open field fighting probably for part of that reason to get those points back. And you're going to see Heaven's Grace and you're going to see to the death from 1V, I'd imagine. I might be wrong, but
and this is a very interesting idea from 1V. They're doing more of a line than a ball strategy.
Here we go.
I'm not super fond. Okay, there you go. Oh, they popped it super early.
But that's fine. They're not pulling back. TR's not pulling back. 1V's not pulling back. 1V is going the War Drums route.
Yeah.
But so is TR. And there's Heaven's Grace as well. Who popped it? 1V popped to the death. TR popped Heaven's Grace.
Ooh. Okay, I like that combo.
Yep.
They started early with to the death to start reducing.
I mean, you
marches.
can't see a damn thing. You might as well just stop. I need to be watching something else on the screen because it's just blue and red nonsense. But things are happening. Let's look at the sad faces leaving. I think that's really what we need to be watching here. 1 minute until this arc spawns, Bulba. Oh my gosh. Chat. You guys have got to be on the edge of your seat. I know you guys are staring at this, hoping to see what side is going to go ahead and get the advantage here. I do see a lot of red going home, a lot more than the blue team here. This might be going in favor of 1V here, guys.
I'm zooming out, and I see a ton of blue dots still.
TR is going home with a lot more sad faces. Blue is starting to take over this middle area. Lots of TR coming into the middle as well as reinforcements, but this is not good for the red team. 1V, boy, oh boy, they are going heavy in the middle, really pushing their weight around here and completely enveloping the middle here. The temple is swarmed with 1V marches absolutely on top of that structure. This Trajan march coming in from Jan Zorbaz is not going to do what is necessary for TR, and that is an absolute atomic bomb to be set off on this temple. The neutral arc is up, and it is taken by 1V. 1V has it, and they got it on their side. They're not moving, though. There we go. Now we're moving, and it's a double C as well.
Oh, yeah.
This is a done deal, guys. I think TR needs to shift the fight over to the Desert Altar or Shrine of War right now to have even a chance at grabbing this. And this is, again, 5 minutes, 30 seconds until the match is over. This effectively nullifies half of TR's player base. Hard push now being used by TR as well. The structure game's not going to do it. I think hard push does give you a march speed bonus on rallies, so that's helpful. Hard push gives you not only the march speed bonus, but also the capture speed bonus on structures. So that's exactly what they're going to be doing. They're trying to rally the Shrine of War and or the obelisk. I would go for the Shrine of War because the obelisk is surrounded by 1V cities, and those are places where you could capture the arc as well. So Shrine of War is the play. They've got to take this Shrine of War, and they've got to capture the arc and then capture it at the Shrine of War of 1V. So this is rough. Now here's the other thing. If you can stop them from capturing it and you have out provisioned your opponent, that's the other piece of this puzzle if TR did that. But the problem is now there's nobody in the way of the 1V march with no health left coming in, double C primary. Is there any... Cam is coming in to try and get the Hail Mary play. Cam coming in with the provision hop. It's not going to be enough. 1V takes the win. Look at that. Capturing it right in front of Cam's face. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that. Huge capture for 1V there. Bulba. Are you like winding down?
It came down to the timing. You know, you and I both talked about it. If they would have captured it earlier, they would not have had points for Heaven's Grace. And it came down to skill usage, like we both kind of thought. And that's kind of the you know, I really do feel it's just that the timing of when they captured the arc that threw off the amount of skills that were available for 1v. And right there, they did do a phenomenal job clearing them out. But man, what could have been.
You know, I'm wondering if there was even a rally on the Shrine of War. I didn't check because I was too busy looking at the arc runner and the people coming on the field, and I didn't see a rally coming. So I wonder if there was even a rally from TR at all, which makes me question the hard push. Skill use there. I don't know. I mean, I think we're obviously grasping at straws here. 1v, 39,600 points versus TR, 31,200 points. Now, we do have provisioning coming into play here, guys. It's 590 points per minute for TR versus 440 for 1v. We have 2 minutes 40 seconds left, so that's basically 200 points. If everything stays exactly the same, which I don't think it will. TR does hold the Sky Altar on the bottom lane of 1v, so that's helpful a little bit. Basically, TR would have had to have massively provisioned, while 1v didn't provision at all for this to change the score a little bit. And as I'm saying that, I see chunks of points coming in for 1v.
Yeah, 1v is bringing the
provisions
in.
Yep. So I think 1v really played this well, and I think TR played well too. I mean, looking at what TR was able to accomplish, right? They took that second arc, which really kind of set the tone for what was going to be the end of the match. They controlled the end of the match. It's just that 1v took that control away with absolutely destroying the open field around the arc. And again, I think the timing, like you said before, the timing from TR could have been a little bit better earlier. I think a little bit earlier. It wouldn't have made it so desperate at the end. But again, it's just like going forward on fourth down, right? Like whenever it doesn't work, everybody in our position is just going to sit here and kind of pick it apart. But if it had worked, we're sitting here praising TR for being the absolute most incredible strategy, Ark of Osiris strategy players in the history of the everything. So I think that 1v did a great job of really assessing the situation. And TR did the same thing, but they just couldn't hold that open field, giving 1v the chance to acquire all those alliance skill points back. I think was the turning point for that middle fight. I think both teams performed very, very well. And really taking 1v structures is a hard thing to do. I've seen 1v hold their structures for the entire match, not losing one against very top-tier players, and TR taking structures away during the match regularly. So there's a lot of things to positively take away if you're TR, but I will also say if you're 1v, you're sitting there and you're looking at this fight, TR are no slouches. I don't think there's anybody on that team that doesn't have gold everything, maxed everything, the right kind of VIP numbers, things like that.
Yeah.
So well done to both teams. GG's in the chat, guys, for 1v. It looks like it's about a 10,000 point match at this point with 15 seconds left. Bulba, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, if you're TR, take this with a grain of salt. You're not eliminated, and that's what's probably the best thing to take out of this match is you got to play one of a top team in group play. This doesn't knock you out. This doesn't eliminate you. If anything, this is going to prepare you even more for what's about to come, assuming both of these teams make it out of this group.
Yeah, wow. Absolutely incredible. All right, so we have the MVP from 1v, 204,910 points. That's almost 205,000 points. That's awesome. I'm wondering if that was one of the swarming players, because I feel like it was. With the Attila profile, I like that. I kind of like that. 1v with the victory, guys. 42,496 points, defeating TR's 33,887 points. I think I'm going to keep it on this screen for us, Bulba. I'd like to go through the battle report with you really quick, and then I want to jump to the 13 UTC matches just really quickly to see if we see anything that needs to be highlighted, and then we'll go ahead and wrap the stream up, and we will be seeing you guys, obviously, at 15 UTC very, very shortly. But, Bulba, what do you see on this battle report that kind of jumps out at you?
40 million units healed. Oh, man. Oh, I didn't think it was... Oh man, 40 million heals. Oh, you gotta love it. And the 90 million kills is just
That's insane.
is that the top kills in Osiris League history?
I don't know
I
if
don't
it's
know how high.
history, but it's definitely up there. I've not really seen that regularly for sure. I will say the 40 million units healed is probably top. I don't think I've seen anything more than 20 something. So 40, and it's not like TR had a hard KBK or something that they just came out of before. So I mean, why would that be a problem? Being super sarcastic and facetious here. Wow, so 91 million kills almost for 1V against 75.6 million for TR, and units healed, like Bulba said, absolutely crazy in favor of TR, almost 40 million units healed, which that means a lot of healing speed ups, folks. That's a lot of healing speed ups that won't be used in TR's KBK next KBK when they decide to go back in. So something to think about there. Let's go ahead and jump into the actual watch list here and see what we see here. Blackpink defeating the Eclipse family, Bulba, 45,000 to 33,000. Blackjack, oh my goodness. Blackjack losing to Song by 200 points. 200 points. Blackjack losing to Song. That was a huge underdog for Blackjack, almost pulling out the victory there. Again, we just saw TR go down to 1V, huge match for 1V. Na'Vi taking out 93T, the Toxic Tigers, by 3,000 points. That looked like it was a very solid match. 88XO losing to Peak pretty handedly. Peak handling business in the realm of Horus. DKV1 winning against Oppa V by 700 points. That was a very close match. BG beating C9N.
Yep.
Wow. And 412A defeating 449G. That's the realm of Horus for you at 13 UTC, guys. That is a massive set of scores. I think there's quite a few surprises in there for a lot of people. If we go to the realm of Anubis, Bulba, do you see anything that jumps out at you?
All right, let me scope it out real quick. KM43. So Group A, we have WSA taking out 623. KM43 winning over AX. That was 5K is pretty close considering how the quality of both of these teams. H593 taking out DN1, who most people regarded as probably the top team in this group, which is very interesting, by 13,000.
That happened
points.
last season too, man.
Oh my goodness. TO93 taking out ING by 8,000 points. Oh man, surprises. I always love these. Let me see. RRK taking out 49NY by 14,000. Let me see. 60MX continuing, their surprise run through of Osiris League. They're definitely going to be a team that we're going to keep our eyes on. Taking out whom 42,000 to 28,000.
That was my big bet.
Ooh,
that was my big bet. I lost.
671K handling business, picking up where they left off after last weekend in V636. So they're looking like a force. But just to rehash real quick, very interesting when you were talking about Horus with BG winning, right? You are now forced, if you are C9N, to have to beat the returning champions in order to qualify for top 16 next week.
Yep. That's going to be a show. So again, just to show you guys what he's talking about, C9N and JST right now are the top two teams. BG is the third team at the moment, but C9N next week has to face JST, and JST again, the returning champions, which means if BG can beat 64RL and JST beats C9N, C9N will be out. If C9N can beat JST and BG beats 64RL, that means that the returning champions are out in Group D. So C9N and BG would be the ones going forward in that situation, which I don't think anybody would have thought was going to be the case, but that is a absolutely crazy group in Group D. So one to look forward to next week whenever we see the final on the thirds there. We do have a few other matches for the realms of Bastet and Sobek. Hold My Beer played early this morning. This was before this match even started, losing to SG30. DQ39 again, doing a great job beating PK26. We have QZQ defeating AZ04. All of my underdogs absolutely not doing what I wanted them to do from the betting that I wanted to see. But 01CL defeating Riot. It looks like Riot didn't even show up with 643 points. So that was kind of interesting being in the playoffs. They might have had some KBK stuff going on, I'd imagine. That's a possibility. 06HS defeating EVL, the Evil Drunkards. That's actually, I think, probably about an even matchup there. 82M defeating UG65 and 91ZJ defeating 88NC. 88NC did a great job last week, and in fact, I think they were the favorites. So 91ZJ would have been a very solid betting position for you all if you decided to go that route. DR34, the presumptive favorites for the realm of Sobek, defeating their opponent 302A. BBC destroying BW53, the Brutal Warriors. We also see 37IA defeating the Revolutioner 42RE, and then a close match, 61HX defeating Farm to Die 35FD. Bulba, I appreciate you joining me. To everyone still out there, we are both sponsored content creators for Rise of Kingdoms. Our links to our channels are in the description below. We've enjoyed this cast, as always, bringing some entertaining fighting to you all and showcasing one of the premier events inside of Rise of Kingdoms, the Osiris League playoffs, in its 5th season. So from myself and Bulba, I wish you all a fantastic rest of your day. We look forward to seeing you guys in just under an hour for another set of matches. Bulba, you got anything left to say before we go ahead and wrap it up?
I appreciate all the love and support y'all been showing on the stream, guys. Make sure before you head out, drop a like on the stream. Make sure to share it with your friends, and we'll see y'all again at 15 UTC.
Have a good one, everybody. Cheers.